This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. As the days get shorter and colder, it can really take a toll on how we feel. Maybe that means calling your grandma, writing a letter to your friend, finally grabbing lunch with someone you haven't seen in a while. And just like reaching out to a friend, starting therapy can take a bit of courage. BetterHelp makes it easy to start therapy. You'll be matched with a licensed therapist based on your needs and preferences so you can focus on your growth and goals. Not happy with your match? You can switch therapists anytime with no hassle. This month, don't wait to reach out, whether that's checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself. BetterHelp makes it easier to take that first step. And our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/PFF. That's betterhelp.com/PFF. Let's get to the next game. Georgia at Mississippi State, 12 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. Can Georgia really just avoid the trap game? You see right there, they're favored by 8.5 points against Mississippi State. The Bulldogs right now are off to a 7-1 start this year. Their only loss coming to 4th-ranked Alabama back in September. They have won its last 4 games since then, and they beat their last 2 opponents in Ole Miss and Florida by a combined 12 points. So it's been close wins the last 2 weeks against Ole Miss and Florida. They still have massive games remaining against Texas and Georgia Tech, 2 teams that are still fighting for a college football playoff spot right now, but they cannot overlook this road game against Mississippi State. Mississippi State has lost 4 of its last 5 games, but it took both Texas and Tennessee to overtime. Georgia also took Tennessee to overtime when they beat them as well. And as you can see right there, Georgia, like I said, only 8.5-point favorites over Mississippi State. So I know a lot of Georgia fans are already, looking ahead to next week against Texas. Do not overlook this game because as we've seen time and time again this year, Mississippi State is not that far away from pulling off some massive upsets this year.
Dangerous team. This team's a lot better than last year. They, they're trying to make a bowl game. I think Jeff Lebby, that's really the step for him is to try to make a bowl game this year. They've come up so close. You mentioned the Tennessee game in overtime. You mentioned, the Florida game. They should have won the Florida game. I mean, if we're being
Texas game in overtime.
The Texas game, they should have. They were up 17 late in that game. Yeah. Should have won the Texas game. Should have won the Florida game. Obviously could have, should have, would have as part of football. But this is a dangerous team, especially going into Starkville. We've seen it all year. The offense can be explosive if Blake Shapen has clean pockets, and good chance he could have a good number of those in this game with Georgia's pass rush. And then you have Devon Booth in that run game, and they've been solid all year. And I think this is still a pretty underrated defense in some facets that is miles better than last year when they were arguably the worst defense in the country.
Yep. So you have the Georgia offense in this one with Gunnar Stockton against Mississippi State's really improved secondary. What should we know in this matchup?
Yeah, improved secondary, but Gunnar Stockton's been running hot the last 3 games. Honestly, he's got a 90.2 passing grade over his last 3 games, 83% adjusted completion rate, 6 touchdowns, just 1 interception. I think a big thing is that Georgia's pass protection, along with Stockton, has been better the last 3 games. Over the last 3 weeks, 23.5% of Stockton's dropbacks have been pressured. That's not exactly a lot. Like that's the closer you are to 20%, you're talking about, okay, it's a really good pressure rate. We're giving our quarterback a lot of time back there to work with on most of his dropbacks. So I think Stockton's running hot, and a big thing you're looking for is if Georgia can keep that improvement in pass protection for another week against a team that has the 15th lowest pass rush grade in the country right now. So I think on both sides, the story really is going to be if either pass rush can find anything in this game. But the way Georgia's offensive line has been going lately and the way Stockton's been playing in a clean pocket lately, really like Georgia's advantages here in the passing game, even if they don't get those big explosive plays downfield, because they don't generally do that. They rack up yards after they catch. Zachariah Branch with the big week against Florida last week. I think Stockton's going to be comfortable for another week here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Mississippi State ground game and whether or not they can win on early downs in this one to avoid obvious passing situations, because the run game is critical for Mississippi State to function as an offense right now. They run the ball on about 49% of their plays, which is 50th in the country, but also it's really important because head coach Jeff Lebby utilizes a lot of play action in his offense. They run play action about 42% of the time. That's the 6th highest rate in the Power 4 this year. Without play action, Blake Shapen is only 87th in college football with a 67.2 PFF grade. Running back Fluff Bothwell did make his return from injury this past week after missing the last 2 games with a leg injury, so that should help out the run game even more. And he and his teammate Devon Booth at running back are among the top 10 running backs in the SEC in both rushing yards and yards after contact this year. But Georgia has been one of the best teams in America at defending the run. They are 5th in the country with only 3.5 yards per attempt allowed. They're also 3rd in the nation with a 90.9 team tackling grade this year. Linebacker CJ Allen and defensive tackle Kristen Miller have been superstars in run defense. They're both inside the top 10 of the country at their positions in terms of run defense grade this year. If Georgia can keep Mississippi State behind the chains on early downs and make Blake Shapen beat them as a drop-back passer without play action, it could have a major advantage on defense.
To me, C.J. Allen, a lot of the second-level defenders here are guys that I'm looking at. C.J. Allen, even K.J. Bolden working down from the safety spot. These 2 backs, Bothwell and Booth, they really like to bounce. Mississippi State is not the most dominant run-blocking team between the tackles, but they give their backs lanes to bounce outside, break, contain, and make plays out towards the numbers. C.J. Allen is going to be the guy running and chasing along with K.J. Bolden or even, the other safeties they have out there along Zion Branch. Ja'Cory Thomas has been really good lately as well. So when you look at this Georgia defense against this run game, I think the second-level defenders are going to be big. That starts with C.J. Allen, though, and he's just been outstanding all season, 92.4 run defense grade. I think that's what you look at. Don't let these backs bounce. They're not going to hurt you too much between the tackles.
Absolutely. So, Dalton, ultimately, who will win between Georgia and Mississippi State? Will Georgia avoid the trap game, or will the Mississippi State Bulldogs, finally get a massive upset?
I think this is definitely sneaky. I think Mississippi State is, you could argue, better than their record, although that's some high-quality teams they've
Don't
been
just
playing.
pick the Bulldogs, by the way. I know you like doing that a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, then I'm always right? I need something today. The Jets are tearing it down. But, no, I have it Georgia 30-23. I do think both quarterbacks are going to have opportunities to make plays in the passing game. These are these the 2 lowest-graded pass rushers in the SEC? Alabama's down there with them, but they're at least 2 of the 3 worst in the SEC when it comes to rushing the passer. So Shapen is going to have time. He's got to be safer. He's got to be safe with the football. If he doesn't turn the football over, he runs the RPO game well, they can be okay in this game. I just think Georgia's going to find a way. Again, I think Gunnar Stockton is going to find a way, and their run game probably presents itself a little better in this matchup than Mississippi State's does against Georgia's run defense. I have it 30-23 Georgia Bulldogs.
I have it Georgia 31-21, so I do have them covering on this one. I think Georgia will win in the trenches on both sides of the ball with their offensive line that's been really good at protecting Gunnar Stockton. As we know, Gunnar Stockton from a clean pocket has been phenomenal this year. And also the defensive line and linebacker units with C.J. Allen leading it and Kristen Miller, I think will slow down this run game for Mississippi State as well. And Fluff Bothwell did come back last week from his injury, but he didn't look 100%, I would say, in that game. So without him at 100%, I think Georgia will win this game 31-21. I don't know if Blake Shapen can win this game as a drop-back passer in this one without play action. So I think Georgia will win by 10 points and avoid the trap game in Starkville.